I clearly am not in charge of recording. I tried one time on my own to do it, and I couldn't handle it.
Uh, well, that's because you were in HD. Tell us what happened. I want to know what
So,
you did.
so the Indianapolis 500 is tomorrow, and it's a whole big deal to me. And you've been there, and I was really excited to do a Indy 500 preview episode. The last night I sat down and I made 3 pages of notes. It took me like an hour. And this morning I go into the YouTube app and I hit, I want to do a video, please. That's what YouTube's for, button. And then it's like, do you want to go live or do you want to record a video? So I said, okay, let's record a video. And so then I recorded the video. And then I went to upload it, and it was 41 minutes and 21 seconds, I think, total. And it was 5 gigs of data. And so I think I recorded it in, super HD. I don't know what I did. I actually still really don't know, because I don't think my camera on my phone is all that great, especially my front camera, or whatever, the one that same side my screen is on. I guess that's the backside camera.
Before you
And
go on, can I interrupt you real quick?
yeah, of course.
NBC Sports just liked your "This is awesome" tweet from the podcast. No big deal.
No way.
NBC Sports just liked it
NBC Sports
themselves.
Did you watch? Dude, you should watch that. It's
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch
it later. It's like 3 minutes, but it's great.
I was just pretty excited that we got liked by NBC Sports. That's why I
really
interrupt you.
This might be our moment. I also, that's the second time I've got liked by a verified account, so I'm pretty sure it's more times than my personal account. No, one time Bill Burr responded to me, and that was cool. Okay, I even had this up, the starting lineup, right? I was like doing stuff, and then I went to load this thing, and I tried it on my phone, and it was just like, nah, dude, we're not. And so after a half hour, it loaded 64 kilobits, which was 0% upload. And so then I got a cord. I hooked my phone up to my computer. I put it onto my computer, and then I went on the internet that's directly hooked into the wall. And then I told my computer to load it up, and it got to 86%, and it was like, upload abandoned. This isn't happening. And that was after like 3 hours. And so I just gave up, and now it's just on my phone. So if anyone wants to watch it, you can meet me in person. I'll give you my phone for 42 minutes. You can just watch it.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you I want to listen to it / watch it, but I was gonna say send it to me. But then I remembered that you can't even load it onto YouTube, so you probably can't send it to me.
I would have to put it on a flash drive and send it to you in the mail in order for you to watch it.
A big flash drive, a 5 gigabyte hard drive.
Yeah, it's the only way.
They used to make flash drives that are only like 1 gigabyte. And you made a 40-minute video that's 5 of those.
Dude, this is a true story. I had to take technology class in high school, and we still saved did all our work on floppy disks in high school. I was like,
oh, that's cool.
I couldn't have been much longer after I went through that they stopped using floppy disks.
No way.
And this is but I was in high school in 2005.
Yeah, it's a long time. That's floppy disk era.
So old. Weird.
Eating a sandwich. Classic.
Fun fact about my sandwich, it's a sun butter and jelly. And I learned about sun butter, which is sunflower seed butter, at boot camp.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
I didn't like it. I was not a sun butter guy. I haven't tried it since. I didn't like it in boot camp. Why would I try it again?
Yeah, I don't know. But Matoyer pisses me off because he loves sunflower seeds. And he's like, oh, I don't like sun butter. I'm like, yes, you do. I think it weirds people out because it's not peanut butter. And that's all it takes. It's actually really delicious. You should try it again.
Well, I also love sunflower seeds.
Yeah, dude, you'd probably like it because the thing is, when you're chewing sunflower seeds, you're making sun butter in your mouth. That's what it is.
Well, who spits in the sun butter then?
Well, someone does. I don't know. I have to look at the packaging. Dude, Reggie Miller's in all these Wendy's commercials, and it's weird.
Dude, I love that you're drinking wine out of a pint glass. Barry Angel
Yeah.
used to drink tequila out of a pint glass. He used to drink pints of tequila.
Who did?
Barry.
I think I saw Wilson do that once, and I was just like,
Wilson, I think,
jeez.
does it with like Woodford Reserve.
I can't do that, man. That's too
That's a
much.
lot. That's a lot.
It's too much. I don't know. I can't drink liquor like that, but I can drink. I can drink wine that's literally cheaper than water like that, apparently. So, real quick, let me just say this about the race tomorrow. I'm cheering for Connor Daly, Noblesville, Indiana's own Connor Daly, and the number's 47 U.S. Air Force Chevy. Even though I'm a Navy bro, it's so cool. I'm cheering for the Air Force car. But my prediction is that the person that you have seen in person, Rios, win a race, win the Indy 500, Alexander Rossi. I think he will become 2-time Indy 500 champion.
Based on what? What's the basis for that prediction?
Well, Hondas have been faster, and Andretti specifically has been fastest. And I think of all the Andretti cars, he's like the most talented, best driver. I think he's one of the best drivers, period, and I just think he's going to.
You know what I don't like about the sport? That you can be like, I think he's going to win because he has a faster car. I don't like that. I don't like that people just have faster cars.
Yeah, but what you might not understand is his car is faster because of him. Like, he is doing stuff and manipulating manipulating the car every single lap that is making it faster. And the way he is driving is saving his tires, so that way he's faster for longer. And you saw him save fuel. He was still fast while somehow saving fuel, and he could run 2 more laps than anyone else could. So it's like his car is faster, but it's not a coincidence that now you do have to have literally the pistons and spark plugs and stuff working, but it's not. It's the driver absolutely matters in terms, not even in terms of driving skill, but in terms of making the car fast. It's him.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you take the same driver, put him in all the cars, make him run a couple laps, you're gonna get different times with each car, meaning each car is not equal.
Yes, but they're not equal because they're not equal because they're set up for the way the driver has had the car set up over hours and hours of practice. And so if you're right, there's cars that are not as good. But if Alexander Rossi got in a car that was not as good after and having hours and hours of practice with it, he would make it better than someone who wasn't as good of a driver. And not meaning he necessarily some of it's literally necessarily like there's stuff on the steering wheel that's literally he's changing things like in the car every single lap. He's changing things in the car that make it grip better. But then also he knows what he wants, so that way they go back to the garage and they fix this, they change that. It just, lots of guys are really good at it, but I'm just saying it does. It's not a video game.
I understand that there's better drivers and worse drivers. I get that, but I think that there's a pre-built advantage that people have before the race starts.
I'm just pointing out that the better driver thing doesn't stop at just skill. Like I can physically turn the wheel better than someone else.
I think that's cool,
it's much deeper.
I just imagine a guy inside, like he's driving and also like just turning a wrench over here, adjusting something like.
It's not a wrench. It's not a wrench, but it's buttons and levers. Yeah. So there's a thing. So, do you want to talk more about it?
Yeah, let's go.
So there's a thing in the car called a weight jacker. Dude, look at how look how high J.R. Smith looks all the time. It's so funny. There's a thing in the car called a weight jacker. And you know how you have shocks and springs and stuff on which your car rides? So inside the Indy car, you can press buttons that will port more or less oil via hydraulic pistons to make those springs tighter or looser depending on what you want. And you can change that on the fly in the car. So that way, when you're going through the turns, you might want your right rear wheel to be way tighter as you're coming through turn 1, but not as you come through turn 2. So then when you'll take it off and then you come through the back stretch, and then you want them loose. So as you're going through the back or whatever, you know what I mean? And there's stuff like that you change in the car. You can manipulate how your gas to air ratio that your car's burning. So how much fuel you're actually burning with a knob on the wheel. There's stuff like that.
It's insane.
It is insane. It's really cool. I would give a lot to be able to drive one.
I feel like they're super expensive, so you have to give a lot to be able to drive one.
I guess I didn't say much. I don't know if I could do it. I'd like to think I could do it. But, like, when they were qualifying, you've been there, right?
I could probably do a lap, but it'd be same settings all the way through. Like, I just wouldn't adjust anything. I would just, shift the gears and go in a straight line.
To be honest, though, I think it would be hard just to start and not spin out immediately. Like, you will have never been in something that powerful and that light. You know what I mean? It's like dry. It's like
I'll just backflip it.
Truck. Yeah, you just be like, let's go. Yeah, I don't know, but also listen to this. When they were qualifying, a couple of the guys, like I was saying, Indianapolis is a rectangle, so there's 4 distinct turns. So it's not a sharp turn, but relatively speaking, it's kind of a sharp, flat turn. And they were going into the turn at 240 miles an hour. Like, could you do it? Could you? It would feel like you're going straight into a concrete wall, and you just have to believe that your car's gonna turn at 240 miles an hour. Like, that takes some stones, man. Hey, are you recording so we're both on there?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
You ask me every time, and I do it. Ever since the first one I've done it.
I didn't ask last time, and I thought about it, and then when you uploaded it for like 20 seconds, you hadn't yet. And it was like, the one time I don't ask him, and he screws it all up. And then I was like, oh, no, it's fine.
I forgot at first. I remember this time, though.
I should calm down. All right. I have two things to start. I say start. We're like 20 minutes in, and I say start. Okay. I said earlier, and you didn't hear me, I was like, the only person I would rather guard less in the NBA than Damian Lillard is James Harden.
Okay, so I get that. Why?
Because both of those guys would just make me look foolish, and like I wouldn't have it. Okay, everyone in the NBA would, right? We're talking relatively speaking here, but
yes,
like if I was guarding Kevin Durant, like he would just like put a dribble on me and just shoot over me. He would just be shooting over me, and it's like, I'm trying my best. What am I gonna do? He's 7 foot tall, but like. James Harden would dribble like 40,000 times and then like put it through my legs and then like put the ball in my shirt and wrap it around me and then like go past me and then like go to dunk it and then not and then run to the 3-point line and then shoot a 3. And I just like the way they handle the ball, Steph Curry too, to be honest. But the way they like really, really, really good ball handlers, even in pickup when like someone's really, really good at ball handling and they just put you on skates and it's like, they're gonna make a move, so you feel like you can't walk up and really press him because you're like, if I get this too close to this guy, he's going to like immediately go around me. So then you give him this massive cushion, and it's like, are you guarding him, or are you gonna be like, yeah, I'm ready for his next move? That's why I think that. But I don't know, those guys are just so unbelievably impressive. Also, James Harden does stuff that's so crazy, and he's so good that we're all numb to it. Yeah. And they showed the other day, Luka made this like through the legs behind the back assist pass, and everyone was like freaking out about it because it was really cool. But like James Harden did it the night before, no one cares because he's just been doing it for 10 years, and he's just like, I think it's kind of like you were talking about how LeBron is so big and strong that we're used to the fact that he just like goes through the lane, and maybe he should get more calls than he does, but we're just like used to the fact that he's always in there. It's just like James Harden is just like so ridiculous. We're like not amazed by it. And he scores.
Speaking of Luka, we're watching the game yesterday, and I was just like pointing out players to Marina as they come out. And I was like, oh, that's Luka. I really like Luka. And she's like, he looks tiny. How tall is he? And I looked it up, and he's humongous. He's like 6'8" or something.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But I'm like,
Yeah.
so I was like, he's 6'8". What are you talking about? Or 6'8", 6'9". He's really tall. And I realized that when she saw him, he was standing next to Boban,
Oh
who
my
looks like a
goodness.
giant. That man is literally a giant.
He's like a freak of nature.
Yeah, but I like him too. He's cool.
He's really cool.
I noticed today there's like European players are taking over the NBA, and it's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
cool. I like the European style of basketball. Well, if you
I
think
really
about
like
like the Mavericks are they're like an all European team, right? And then you got like the dude from the Heat. That dude's killing it. That dude's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know if they're
Giannis,
taking over. I don't know if they're taking
Giannis,
over because they've been here for a really long time and they've been influential maybe longer than it seems.
Giannis is Greek. That's European. I count him.
It's a bonus.
Yeah, exactly. They're good, and I like their style of play.
Yeah, me too.
I'm all about it. I wouldn't want to guard. So I agree with Damian Lillard, but I think Russell Westbrook would just destroy me. Because he'd
Oh
do
yeah.
something like he'd probably like just jump over me, and then like the entire time he'd just be like talking and just like making me mad, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
you're right.
he just-
He would attack you like you were an all NBA defensive man. Like he wouldn't care. He would still like take it so seriously. Just be
just be-
posterizing you.
yeah.
You're like, dude,
He
can you
probably-
relax a little bit?
like dude, I'm 26-year-old guy. I haven't played basketball in like a year. Could just take a break.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not in the NBA. You could
Yeah.
just relax.
You don't
That's a
have to
good
dunk
point.
it and hang on the net every time. Like you can relax.
Yeah. Dude, is he gonna play again?
I don't know. You know what I
He's
think?
been
I
out.
think yeah, no, I don't think he is. I'm not sure. Is he still in the bubble?
Yeah, he's in the bubble.
Well, if he's staying in, then they're probably like hoping that he comes back.
Yeah, well, not that the Pacers are beyond hope, but there's a report today before the game that Sabonis is coming back to the bubble, right? And we're like, dude, Sabonis is coming back to the bubble. This is awesome. Sabonis is back. We win today. If we just win today, the series will be 2-1. Sabonis is coming back to the bubble. Will be good. And then at halftime, they're like, oh, he's coming back for moral support. He's not actually going to play. It's like, yay. And then they lost anyway.
He's like Patrick Beverly right now. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he's just a cheerleader. Also, I'm
Dude, I like
watching this
seeing him
game.
follow him.
Me too. Why would you why would you foul Anthony Davis for shooting a 3-pointer? That just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know, but I'm behind. No, he wasn't. That wasn't a 3.
Was he on the line?
He was inside. He was
Oh.
way inside.
Oh yeah, it was only 2. Either way,
Yeah, how about Alex Caruso?
I guess pretty cool. Probably one of my favorite Lakers right now.
That's actually what made me say my comment was he was guarding Damian Lillard. And I was like, dude, I feel bad for him.
Dude, Caruso's the Lakers' secret weapon.
Secret being the key word.
He's awesome. Dude.
Weapon being the second word.
He's the most athletic, balding guy in the NBA, I think, other than LeBron.
Yeah, I was gonna say LeBron's been losing his hair. LeBron's balding. He's been balding like 3 separate times.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Not only is LeBron the most athletic, he's the most balding.
That's not just based on how much hair he has. That's just based on like period of time that he's been balding.
Dude, those pictures where his I don't even like talking about it, where his headband was pushing up his fake hair. It like bothers me. I feel like, dude, just shave your head, man. I have an off-topic question that was from before we started that I want to finish. How much of a dollar difference would there have to be between bottles of wine that you think you could tell the difference?
I think there's tiers. So I think
You think there's tiers?
Anything below $20, I don't think I'd be able to tell the difference.
No, there's no way you'd be
There's
able to
no
tell
way.
the difference. There's no way.
And then there's like a buffer between like maybe a 20 and a 40 where I probably have no idea. but I think 20 and below, and then anything greater than $40, I feel like I'd be able to tell a difference between those two
I
bottles of
don't.
wine.
I don't know. So you're saying you're basically saying
I'm
that's
talking
like
about good quality wine.
a $21 difference is all it would take for you to be able to tell between a $19 bottle and a $40 bottle.
But I mean, that's what you can't say like, hey, this is the best $20 wine in the world, and this is the worst
No, you're
$40
right.
wine in the world.
I'm talking about the average 19. You take five $19 bottles of wine, and you take five $40 bottles of wine. You think you could tell the difference between which lot is which?
Oh yeah, yeah, for
I
sure.
believe you. I don't know what would. I know so little about it. I don't know what would make me think that. Like, what would you be looking for?
I don't know,
What
but I
would
feel
tell
like
you?
I don't know. I'm not like what are the wine people called? The ones that taste wine?
Sommelier.
Yeah, I'm not one of those. But but I feel like I've drank enough wine to know the difference. And I'm not I'm not drinking it by the pint glass like you, but you know,
That's true. I've come to appreciate wine. You know what I found about wine though? And tell me your thoughts on this. Wine doesn't get better after the first sip. So when I'm drinking wine, the first sip is like the most delicious it's gonna be. And then it stays good, but it doesn't get better. But
no.
like beer, I think sometimes can get better. Like when your third beer, it depends because of the first beer is really good and refreshing.
Well,
But if it's not like a
depends on the beer.
refreshing, if it's not a refreshing beer, if it's like a
Porter.
heartier beer, the
It's
third one
gas.
tastes better than the first one.
Yeah, so you're drunk. So
I'm not. There's no way I'm not drunk after two beers. I think it tastes.
depends on the beer. I've been drunk about 2 beers.
It's possible. I don't think I have been. I'm not saying it's not possible because there's probably like 12% beers, but
Yeah. Had it in Washington. There was this quad, maybe double Belgian. It was a Belgian, but it was like 11.8%, and I didn't
that's
know that. And I was just drinking. I was like at the arena, I think. I was just drinking them. I drank one, and I'm like, this is really good. It was like refreshing. It didn't have like that super bitter taste that you get from like an IPA that's like really alcoholic. It just tasted like a
wow.
refreshing Belgian beer, and I was like, this is awesome. I finished my second one, and I was like, my drunk right now? What's going on? That was a surprise. I think so. The wine, I think I can tell a difference. Now, if you gave me probably like a $20, not even like a $30 scotch, and you gave me like $150 scotch, there's no way. There's no way.
No way.
No way. You can give me a
I'm pretty
$1,000 scotch.
sure.
I'd be like, this tastes like I'd be like, is this Maker's Mark? And then people would just look at me like I'm dumb. It'd be
Dude,
horrible.
I'm pretty sure there's. If I tried enough samples of vodka, you could probably make one of the 10 samples like rubbing alcohol, and I wouldn't know the difference. Like I would be like, I'll give it. This was like the seventh best one. They'd be like, that's actually isopropyl alcohol. Like,
Oh, yeah,
there's no way.
that's true. There's also no absolutely not. I
I
think
might. I think beer might be the easiest.
I would do like if you gave me 10 samples of vodka, at the end I would probably be like, this is a prank. You gave me 10 of the same ones. I tricked you. Got
Yeah.
me. I got you guys.
Yeah,
You're not
for
gonna
sure.
trick me because I can't tell the difference.
No way. But I think that beer is probably the easiest to tell. Like this is cheap for this. This is not cheap.
Well, yeah,
And it's
because
because those fancy brews they kind of have like a I don't know, you can just kind of tell it's fancy by the.
yeah, it's called flavor.
Is that what that is? I was looking for the word. I was like misplacing the word. There's something about the good tasting beer. It's taste. Hell yeah.
Yep, that's what it is, dude.
All right. Anyways, I aggressively cut you off when you suggested we talk about the bubble for some reason.
No,
But
I like that conversation. That was a good conversation.
all right, good. Well, I'm listening.
All right, I was just saying we talk about what's going on. I wanted to ask you what's going. I haven't watched a single Pacers Miami game, and I was hoping you'd tell what's going on there because I thought Miami was bad, mostly because Jimmy Butler is the only player I could name up until yesterday. when I looked it up because I was confused.
Here's the thing. Okay, I really don't want to spend too much time on this. I lamented for like 4 hours with Gene about this already. The Pacers run a very stale, stagnant, old NBA style of offense and defense. It's half court, it's very slow, and when Sabonis isn't out there, they don't have the players to do it. Sabonis is an all-star. This is his first year ever starting, right? And he was an all-star this year. He's still getting better. He's really good. He's our best player ever since Victor Oladipo had his devastating knee injury. And a healthy Pacers team, not trying to be a homer, I honestly think a healthy Pacers team takes care of Miami pretty easily because Miami, like you're saying, has Jimmy Butler, and then they have a lot of very good supporting cast, but they're really young, and like Bam Adebayo is an elite defender, but he's not an elite offensive player, and so I think Sabonis would be a really good matchup for the Pacers instead of having Miles Turner go against him, who tries to just shoot a bunch of threes. I don't know. They have a coaching problem, I think, and they're just they try one thing on offense. They're like, this is what we do on offense. And Eric Spoelstra is actually a good coach, right? And so he'll take that thing away, and then they're just completely lost. They don't know what to do. So it's been very frustrating. The Pacers are going to get swept. And Miami is – I think they're close to being a legitimate contender. They probably need one other good player to complement Jimmy Butler, and I think they're going to make a run because they have a lot of really young core good pieces, but that's what's happening with the Pacers, dude. It's so frustrating. You know, the Pacers have been good forever. The Pacers have been good forever, and they've never been terrible, and they've never been great. And I was explaining to Jamie, like, they'll be good every year. Every year they'll be like the 3rd through 7th seed, right? Since like the ABA, and then they'll like lose in the first or second round, and it's the way it is. And so they'll never get a high draft pick. They won't they won't be super aggressive and trade up to the number 1 pick. They won't push all the chips in. They'll have a lot of good players and hope they can get lucky, and they'll be really good. And it's fun watching the regular season because they'll win 40 to 50 games every year, and then they'll get bounced by a team. And I was explaining to Jamie, I was like, the teams they lose to in the playoffs 3 years ago were in the lottery because they had the 3rd worst record in the NBA. And the Pacers do this all the time. They're just here. And most teams go boom, 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 right? And they never do this. They never have that up, except like the Spurs. But the Spurs are obviously better coached. And so
the Spurs do this, but up here.
Yeah, exactly. The Pacers do this, and the Spurs do this. Exactly. That's exactly how it is. And so it's just frustrating, dude. It's frustrating being a Pacers fan because every year they'll win 40 to 50 games, and you're like, we're good. The Pacers are the 4th seed.
I like Tyler Hero.
I like Tyler Hero too. Gene was like cursing him out today, and I was like, it's not Tyler Hero's fault, dude. you hate our coach. You don't hate Tyler Hero. And he was like, yeah. Pretty funny.
The European guy, what's his name?
Dragic.
The point guard, Dragic. He's good, dude.
He is good. He was with the Suns for a long time.
Yeah.
That's why no one knows his name.
Yeah. Actually, I remember him playing there. I just forgot that he went to.
I don't like Jimmy Butler, but I kind of like Jimmy Butler too because like he doesn't give a damn and he's there to win and he doesn't care. And like he has his teammates back and he puts his teammates on his back and he'll bring you with him. But like you better be with him and ready to try to win and lay it out there because if not, he'll trash you in Minnesota. And there's that story where he was like forcing his way out of Minnesota and he showed up to practice with like the practice squad and like half of the D League team and he just trounced the starters. And he's like, that's why you're all trash and I'm leaving. So it's kind of cool. I don't know, but.
I like the aggressiveness. All right. Yeah. So there's that. Miami's good. I've been watching a lot of them.
Miami isn't good, but Miami's up and coming, and the Pacers are blowing it, and I'm sad.
I was going to say, I like the Mavericks. I hope they beat the Clippers. I don't think they're going to because the Clippers are very good, but I like the Mavericks.
Well, especially
I was about to say, especially now that Luke is hurt. I don't know if you saw the
Oh,
video, but his ankle was super twisted. He's
yeah.
gonna be a game time decision as of right now.
Did you tweet someone who was like, he's doing that thing where as long as you don't take off your shoe, you didn't actually twist your ankle or whatever?
Yeah, that was Big Cat. Shout
Oh
out, part
yeah,
of my take.
that's funny. I think
Yeah.
yeah. Dude, can we talk about how horrible the Clippers logo is?
But before we do that, the whole like not taking your shoe off, that's a real thing. I remember people being like, as soon as you take your shoe off, you're done. You're screwed. And
Because
it's like,
it'll
all right. Yes, you gotta keep your shoe on.
just Dude, I remember someone telling me if you jam your finger, like you reach for a rebound and it bends the wrong way, that like I remember someone telling me like if you don't stop moving it, it will never get bad. And dude, it's true because it happened to me in a game once, and I was like our point guard, so I had the ball a lot, and I was just dribbling. And whenever I didn't have the ball in my other hand, I just kept going like this constantly, and it just never hurt. I was like,
Nice.
it's true, it worked.
I'm
Dude,
unstoppable.
dude, I'm anti-icing.
Yeah,
I
it's ice.
believe. No, dude, icing is bad. Icing is bad for you. It's a myth. It's a big myth.
Nope.
I listened to a whole podcast on it, so I'm basically an expert. But here's the thing, dude. Should only be used for a very, very short period of time when you have to stop swelling in an acute time scale, like in between rounds of a fight. Like you have to be able to see out of your eyes, so you ice it down as hard as you can. But like if you twist something, you shouldn't go home and ice it because all you do is when you twist it, all these fluids rush to the area, right? Some blood, but some other circulatory fluids rush to the area. And all you do when you ice it, you close all your capillaries and you constrict everything and you constrict it down and it just gets stuck in there. And the system that's designed to remove that fluid, so your body sends all that fluid there on purpose, but it also has a way to remove it. And the way to remove it has to do with contraction of muscles. And so like if you twist your ankle, the only way to get swelling down is to move your ankle. Like you have to move it and walk on it because the muscle contraction and lengthening and shortening is what will pump all those fluids back out of your ankle into your body. And when you ice it, it constricts. You ice it and you sit down, right? You go into the trainer's table, you lay there, you don't move it, and you ice it. It's the worst thing you can do. I am super anti-icing. I believe it, dude. And it was actually invented by a guy.
Who was the podcast people? I want to know what the sources are.
Okay. I can't remember the guy's name, but I can look it up. I can post it on the Twitter. But it was Misha Tate, MMA fighter Misha Tate, and it was a doctor whose name I will find and let you know. And this is what he studies. And he brought up that it was we didn't used to ice our stuff, and it was invented by this other doctor who invented the rest, ice, compression, elevation. And he invented that as a way, like a mnemonic to remember. And and people were like, okay, yeah. And it just became a thing that people started doing. And it's like, it all came out of this one dude. And he explained why it doesn't make sense. And I totally believe it. It makes sense. It makes sense why you don't ice to me. No, I'm anti-icing.
All right.
Also, one time after cross-country practice, this is anecdotal, but I took an ice bath, like a full-body ice bath in a trash can. And the next day, I felt like my bones were, like, brittle. I felt like I felt like I could break my legs just walking. It was really bizarre. So I would never do that again, just personally. But I also think, like a spot injury shouldn't be iced.
I used to love the feeling.
Unless you, like, need to get through something in the moment. But then you're going to pay for it because the recovery is longer. If you ice, the recovery is longer.
Do you ice shin splints?
I've only actually developed shin splints once, and it was horrible, and it ruined my summer. Like, I couldn't move. I couldn't run or have fun before freshman year of high school. But when I start running a lot after I haven't been, I used to fill up a bunch of Dixie cups with water and then tear off
rip
the
it
top
off.
part. Yeah. And I don't think I would do that anymore. I've been running enough for so long that I don't really need to anymore. But even if I would, I don't think I would. I think I would just walk a lot to cool down and stretch.
I think that was the only good thing about having shin splints was I was able to use the little Dixie cups that you could rip off, and I thought it was so cool.
It is pretty fun. That
Yeah,
is pretty fun. Shin
I'd
splints
like
are
one
like
of those.
torturous. Ugh,
They're the worst. I hate
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Um,
really bad.
I got
It
them
feels
right
like,
before conditioning, like summer conditioning in high school.
uh-huh.
So like I remember we would be doing the sprints for football, and we'd be on the track pretty much just a straightaway, like just sprinting. And it's Arizona summer, so it's like super hot. It already sucked, and then I developed shin splints during that, so it was just the worst. It was bad.
Feels like your muscles are ripping off of your shin bones.
Yeah. What is
Ugh.
it actually? Is that not what it actually is? What's actually happening to your shin bones? Are they splinting?
I think it. I have a guess, but it might be so dumb. I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think it might be like little tiny micro fractures of your tibia or whatever.
I think that's what it is too.
That might be stupid though. It might be but I think it's like little, like you're literally like stress fracturing your bones.
I think that's right. Here's the thing. That reminded me of like when Pumbaa was like, "Oh, stars are just balls of gas floating hundreds of thousands of miles," and everyone's like, "That's so dumb." I think that's you. You're Pumbaa. You're like telling the right thing and then just shaming yourself into believing it's
Yeah.
not true.
Dude, I have really strong opinions about the Lion King. Have I ever told you that?
No,
Is now an appropriate time?
that's as good a time as ever.
Okay. So what's the song that everyone loves except the opening song from The Lion King, right?
The romantic one. Can you feel the love? Can you
No,
feel?
people like that one, but that's not the one that people get tattoos of and they really like it. Right? It's Hakuna Matata.
Oh yeah, obviously yeah.
Okay. So like people love that song, people love what it means, but I feel like a lot of people fail to make the connection that the movie itself is literally about rejecting the idea of Hakuna Matata and
Dealing with your past.
voluntarily placing the responsibility of adulthood on your shoulders so that way your homeland will stop being a literal hell as represented by desolation and fire and will return to basically the Garden of Eden. And it's like people like Hakuna Matata and they think like
The
that's a good
message.
way to look at things. And it's like the movie is actually anti that. You dumb.
Yeah, I think it's funny too. I've definitely noticed that. Maybe you
I
had told
know.
me.
I'm
Maybe
sure.
you're the
I
reason
mean,
I.
sorry. Go ahead.
Maybe you're the reason that I think that way too. But I've definitely noticed the same thing, where it's like I completely agree with you. Like these people, like the movie is literally telling you, "Hey,
Yeah.
don't live your life this way. You have to
Yeah.
go back and fix things, or
Yeah.
else your life's gonna suck forever." And
It's
everyone's
like
like, "Nah, no
the
worries."
the movie is saying if you try this Hakuna Matata thing, you will never grow up. You will stay a man child. You will have loser enabling friends, and your family will suffer and die. Like that is what the movie's about. And the movie's great and it makes it a great point. And obviously a lot of people do realize that and I'm not on some groundbreaking idea, but a lot of people get tattoos that are like Hakuna Matata, baby.
Well,
And you're like,
I blame Disney. They shouldn't have made that song so catchy.
you're
They
right.
should
They should
they
have.
should have made a catchier song about going back and fixing your issues back home. They should have
Yeah.
made a catchier song about growing up.
Well, it got super serious when he went back, and hopefully they thought like people will notice there's a pretty big shift here, but no, they were just like they were still like
Akuna.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, that's true.
Good movie though, but whenever someone brings it up, I'm like, do you actually understand what it means though? It must be hard to be friends with me, but anyway, I glad we talked about it. Dude,
Well,
a lot of the Disney movies, especially the older animated ones, have like deeply profound lessons, and they're really good. Like Sleeping Beauty, dude. Sleeping Beauty is like a work of art. It's
Sleeping
like
Beauty is my favorite princess movie.
it's a good one.
Yeah, I
Dude.
grew up liking it just because guy throws sword. Like throwing a sword is the coolest thing, and then just nailing it.
I wonder if they ever did that.
Throw swords at dragons? Unlikely.
Probably. Dude, can I talk about Sleeping Beauty real quick?
Hey, go for it.
This isn't a
We're
sports
already
podcast.
here. We're here.
Okay. So the whole point of Sleeping Beauty, it's actually kind of similar. It's like you have a child that you love so much that you would do anything in the world to protect it. And so you send this child away from the evil queen, whatever she is, Maleficent, the evil dragon, the darkness in life, and you hide her from it, and you give her protectors, and you hide her in the cabin. And by the time she turns 16 or whatever, she's so sheltered and useless as a functioning person that she's like so easily brainwashed that she like cannot help but touch the freaking spinning wheel thing, right? Like there's no way she was gonna not do it because she's like a baby, because she hasn't placed the burden of adulthood on her shoulders, right? And so then it creates chaos. And so it's the whole other thing is like, and you're about, you know, actually, I don't know. Can we edit this out? Should we edit this out? You're about to become a father. Can I say that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And
People
so
know.
this is a good lesson to not be lost on you is instead of at your child's first birthday, putting them in the enchanted forest and protecting them with fairies and shunning them from the evil, you have to invite the evil to your kid's first birthday party. Otherwise, if they don't have it when they turn 16, they'll be a useless baby child and they'll just freaking touch the spinning wheel and their life will devolve into chaos because they're not prepared to handle it, dude. You have to prepare your children to face the burden of the evil of life, but you can't hide them from it. It doesn't work. That's what
Yeah, I
Sleeping Beauty is
agree.
about.
People have a better chance of beating the evil if they're introduced to it.
Yeah, and
Hey,
it's your job as a parent to responsibly give it to them.
you ever think maybe like the writers were like, "Hey, this is just a movie about a princess in the forest fighting a dragon," and you're over here overthinking like way
I'll tell
deeper
you
than
why
that.
I don't. I'll tell you why I don't. Okay? And it's because they're very old stories. They're very old motifs that get packaged in different ways. But they've existed forever. Not forever, but for a very, very long time. And the only way they could have existed for a very, very long time is if they weren't just stories. Like they wouldn't have transcended time if they didn't have that deeper human meaning. And so even though it gets packaged in a different way, that's the problem with Frozen. That's the problem with Frozen. Frozen was writers in their heads in 2000 whatever thinking, let's make this point, and then they wrote a story, and then you got Frozen. So it has good characters and it has good songs, but culture will forget Frozen. But culture will never forget. Even if you don't know Sleeping Beauty, you know the story of Sleeping Beauty because it's a repackaged telling of an ancient truth. And so that's why maybe some writers were just like, yeah, and then we can do this and that. But it's like even if they didn't know it, they knew it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get you.
But you can definitely overanalyze stuff. Pinocchio, dude, don't even get me started on Pinocchio. Pinocchio is like the deepest Disney movie of all time.
Just don't lie. Boom. That's all that is.
Yeah, that's part of it. Anyway, that was fun. I like talking about Disney movies because they're really cool. Jamie and I were just talking about our top 3 Disney movies, our top 3 favorite Disney movies that we want to, because we were like, we can control what George watches. So, like, we can just make him watch the stuff we liked as kids. And so then it will be less annoying.
That's what I was thinking about. I was talking to Marina about that. I was like, hey, everyone's always complaining about watching these super annoying YouTube videos and stuff with their kids when they're growing up. And I'm like, if we just never introduce our kid to that, why would he want that? Like,
Yeah,
if
he would.
we just introduce him to like things that we actually like, that's what he'll want to watch.
Yeah, dude.
Boom. Boom. Parenting 101 on this podcast.
Yeah,
That
dude.
concludes the segment, Parenting 101.
It's a new weekly segment. You don't have a kid yet, and I have my first kid who's 1, and we're like, listen up, parents. I see a lot of you screwing up out there.
Let us tell you how to raise your kids as we're drinking, a pint of wine.
I'm not done yet. Check out this glass, though. When we left, this is my graduation present from Jamie. She got me a set of pint glasses with Wyoming-themed, like, etchings in them. Like, laser-engraved glasses. So there's a trout, there's an antelope, there's the University of Wyoming logo, there's the bucking bronco guy, there's a buffalo. Pretty cool.
He's a cowboy.
Yeah.
The cowboy.
When we buy a house, everyone in, the mascot?
Wyoming cowboy, yeah.
His name's Pistol Pete.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
And then we have a little miniature horse who runs out on the field, and his name's Cowboy Joe. And one time we were on a field trip to go electrofishing in the Laramie River, and we went past this ranch, and we were turning to get to the river access, and Cowboy Joe was in his pen, and there was a sign, and it was like, Cowboy Joe, mascot of the University of Wyoming. And we were all like, it's Cowboy Joe. He's just like right there. It was like meeting a celebrity. It was like little Sebastian on Parks and Recreation, dude. It's pretty cool, dude. And then also when the Cowboy football team takes the field, there's somebody on a horse, and there's all this yellow smoke, and then they run through the band, and they have a big Wyoming flag. And for some reason, one time, there's other people to receive the horse. So the horse comes up to a sprint, and then it slows down in the end zone. They take it off. Somebody on like the 20-yard line, on the other side of the other 20-yard line, thought it'd be a good idea to like grab this horse's reins after it had been sprinting for 80 yards. It's not the miniature horse. This is a full-grown horse that somebody's riding. And she grabbed onto the reins and just went flying through the air and just like skidded into the end zone. And everyone was like, oh, like, why would you? Listen, learn. If a horse is running past you at like 20 miles an hour, don't touch it.
Just don't try to catch it. You're not
like, it has a rider. Like, they'll probably do it. You're not going to catch it. Did you see when the Oklahoma Sooner wagon tipped over? It's crazy. That was crazy, awesome. Dude. Dude, college football's gonna be all weird.
Yeah, it is. And there's only gonna be 3/5 of it.
We'll see.
If that. I can't believe
it's already less because the Mountain West canceled too.
Oh yeah, I meant Power 5 conferences.
I know what you meant.
Everyone hears all about it, but they don't care because all they care about here is ACC and SEC. But I want to watch the Big Ten. I want to watch the Pac-12.
I love a random Penn State Iowa game, dude. I love the Big Ten.
They were laughing at me because I said I wanted to watch the MAC, and I was like, "Who else plays on Wednesday nights?"
Yeah, dude, the MAC is awesome.
Yeah, everyone's like. And it's like nothing but Georgia fans and Florida Gator fans here, right? And like a bunch of Clemson fans, obviously, because that's what's cool now. But they're like, I'm like, dude, I want to watch, Maction on like a weekday night, like on ESPN for no reason, and that's gone.
Dude, I want to watch Toledo, Eastern Michigan, on a Thursday night under the lights, baby. Dude, like, of course. Why would you not want that?
That's big time football right there. All right, so this
sucks.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss football. Well, college football. I think more. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think because 2 of the conferences already quit. I think the other conferences are gonna try it, but they're gonna have an outbreak within weeks of starting, and I think that's gonna like go away real quick. So enjoy it while you can. But yeah, do you have any opinions on that before we move on? Because
Yeah, I was just saying. So for some reason, the University of Wyoming thinks I'm coming back, and they keep like emailing me like, "You're not allowed on campus until you take a test," and like, "This is a reminder," and like, "You fill out this form and do this training," and I'm like, "I'm not coming back, guys. I already graduated. I'm not coming back." But I got an email today that was like they had 61 cases of coronavirus at Wyoming, which is like the smallest state school. Right? We have like 8,500 undergraduate students. There's like colleges with freshman classes with more than 8,500 students. So it's just like, if there's 61 in Wyoming, dude, it's like, you're right. There's going to be outbreaks everywhere, and they're probably going to cancel it.
yeah. But hopefully NFL goes through and they just push through and say, you know what, we don't care about your life. We're going to keep going. Right? Or
you know what I was just thinking is like, the NBA without fans is kind of awesome. Right?
Yeah. I liked it. I liked the bubble. I think the NBA nailed it.
Yeah, they did a good job. Baseball without fans, weird, but like I'm already kind of over it because like I watched the Reds. So if I watched a game on Tuesday night when they were like 15 games under 500, it looks the same. There's like no one there anymore. So, but you know, I was like NFL football with no fans is gonna be weird, dude. That'll be weird. That'll be really weird.
That's gonna be really weird. College football would be just that's gonna be awkward. Like it's gonna be like eerie, weird, quiet. There's not gonna be like crazy
all feel
students.
like a scrimmage.
Yeah, that's gonna be awful.
I feel like the football crowd matters more than the other crowds.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. I hope that happens. I was gonna ask you this, and this might lead into a hole that we may or may not have time to finish this conversation because I feel like you probably have a lot of opinions on this. But what was your thoughts on the? What were your thoughts on the whole Grand Slam 3-0 pitch? That was a big deal this week. I thought it was silly, but so I'll tell you what I think. I think don't put yourself in a 3-0 position, and don't pitch such a easy ball. Like you're gonna like 97 down the middle, right over the plate. Like, come on, this guy's the home run leader in the league. He's leading the league in home runs. You can't pitch him that, and then complain about him hitting a home run. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
I say he keeps swinging.
I completely agree. But to take it beyond just that incident, the whole baseball unwritten rules culture stuff is like so. I just don't understand it. All right, so you hit a home run and you flip your bat, and you can't flip your bat. That's not okay to flip your bat. It's like, why can't you flip your bat? It's like you should be able to flip your bat, and then when the pitcher strikes you out, the pitcher should be able to go, yeah, and like yell and be like, yeah, and like walk off the mound like he's a stud. And then you should just be able to take it and be like, last time I got him and I flipped my bat and I walked around, I slowly jogged around the bases. This time he got me. It's like, both of them aren't cool? How are both of them aren't cool? Just make both of them cool. Like,
and everything will be okay.
I literally don't understand it. Like, yeah, that's what I would understand if it's like, if for some reason the way it worked out, it was kind of like one way and it's just like, okay, you're just showing up. But it's not one way. It's like, it's completely even. And so just like do it. Just like make a double play and then be pumped about it. It's like you make your double play to end the inning with 2 men on, and then you tip your cap to your teammate and go to the dugout. It's like, be happy. And then the next time when they don't get a double play and they get a single, and they score a run, it's like, then they can be happy. It's like when you do something good, you get to be happy about it. How is that a problem? I just don't understand it. When a defensive end makes a big sack and they celebrate, people are like, dude, that's not cool. Because then when they run around the outside of the those people are losers. Because when they run around the outside of the defensive end and they score the touchdown, they celebrate. And it's like, yeah, they scored. They score. Yeah, you celebrate when you score. You celebrate when you get a sack. You celebrate when you hit a home run. You celebrate when you get a big strikeout. I just don't understand it. I don't understand where it came out of. It's not like I get I even understand like the gentleman's game thing, and there's a way you celebrate with yourself, so you're not. It's not like he didn't hit the home run and then just start
You're not
cursing
taunting.
out the pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
It's not a
wasn't
taunt. You're
taunting.
not
Like it's
taunting.
not taunting. Taunting, if you're anti-taunting, that's fine. But like you're literally anti-celebration in a sport. Like what are you doing? I don't get it. And it's also like not a unique opinion. Like I feel like it was a big topic on sports radio and stuff like that. The Tatis home run,
Yeah.
or grand slam,
It was
and
all
it's
over the
like
place.
everyone agrees that we want them to have fun, except the baseball players.
Apparently, well, not even that. Apparently, except for the two managers of that game, like they were both of them were upset
Yeah,
about
that's
it.
true too.
Even the Padres
Yeah.
manager was like, "Yeah, that's not okay." And it's like, yes, it is. Just hit the ball. Hit the
Also,
ball. Score
dude,
home runs.
way to lose how fast are you gonna lose a locker room?
Yeah, real quick.
How
Like, hey,
fast?
I don't know.
Not a
I don't
good
know
look.
how do you go out as a coach, call out arguably your best player right now, at least your hottest player right now, and just be like,
Dude,
nope.
he's their best player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. That was
I also
bad take.
I don't believe that it's running up the score in a professional game is not a thing. Like you're professional players. Like if you don't want them to run up the score, then like you said,
better.
throw a better pitch. Like I don't know what you want me to do. Plenty of pitchers throw 3 pitches in a row that aren't 3 straight balls. Okay? So like be one of those people and then you won't have this problem. I don't understand it. You can't run in high school, sure. Like, I get it. You're up 30 in the second half. Just run the ball. Okay, sure. But, like, this is the professionals. Like, no, it's not possible. Run up the score. Fine.
Yeah,
Play
like,
defense. Like, I don't
everyone on
understand what your
that
problem
field is getting paid millions of dollars. Play better. Like, don't get mad
Yeah.
because he hit a home run on you. Like, you can't get mad about that. You're getting paid millions of dollars to be good at this game. You can't get mad when someone's better than you.
And imagine, like, the competitive spirit you have to grind for that long to become a professional player in any sport. And then how do you get to the point where you're like, that's not cool. I wish you would have just taken bad bases or bad pitches so that way I could throw strikes. It's like, how do you respect yourself if you get mad that someone hit the ball you threw? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, how do you, if you're playing defense in football, like, how do you respect yourself if you're mad that the quarterback is throwing touchdowns in the fourth quarter instead of just, hey man, just run it on us and run out the clock? It's like, that's
just end the
like,
game already.
yeah. Ugh. Dude, if your team's infected with that mindset, you're just screwed anyway.
Hey, you're not gonna win either way. Yeah,
No.
I agree. You have to be. I feel like at that level, you have to have that competitive edge, and I feel like you had it at some point to get there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, like most people aren't freakishly athletic. Maybe LeBron doesn't have it because he was just so, far more athletic than everyone else that he could just get to the NBA without having it. But I think even they were talking about it earlier today. Like even him, he was like, "Oh, I need to be more aggressive now because he got her ass kicked that first game by the, 8 seed, and then he came back and won 2 in a row." But the fact that you're gonna complain about someone being better than you, it's like, no, dude, just be better. That's all you got. That's all you can do.
That brings up another life. That's just a general life lesson. It's like you can never surround yourself with people who want to be equal with you by bringing you down. It's like you always have to find people that want to be equal with you by bringing themselves up. And that way, when they have something that you don't have, you don't feel like, oh, I need to bring it back down. It's like you hear boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, and someone will be one partner won't want the other person to go to the gym because it's like they makes them jealous. It's like, dude, that is like the biggest red flag in a relationship. The gym is obviously just an example, but like, yeah, you can't go through life that way, and you definitely can't play sports at a high level that way by hoping people come down to your level. It just doesn't work, dude. It's embarrassing. Baseball,
you're at the highest level. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and I argue we had the discussion. I think our very first podcast that is baseball dying? And I don't think baseball's dying, but they're not doing themselves any favors by the unwritten rules of baseball stuff. And I like the weird, wacky baseball culture stuff. I like that stuff. And I like the you hit our guy, we're gonna hit one of your guys. I don't even mind that stuff, but just like we're gonna hit your guy because you were too happy, like that's insane.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny either way that they're like, hey, this guy flipped his bat, I'm gonna chuck a 97-mile-per-hour ball at his head.
It's like, how does that develop? How did that become a thing? It's so
like, nothing in between. Really... It's like, we're there.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, you think you're good?
Totally agree. I'm good on that. Yeah. Oh man. Real quick.
I mean,
or were you good on that?
Yeah, I'm good at that. I was just gonna say I don't have anything else that we were on my very extensive list of things that we're gonna talk about. Disney movies, parenting, and basketball. But I was gonna say,
Disney movies.
There's one thing
else. Talking about wine and Disney movies, this could be like a mommy blog. If you just searched by wine and Disney movies, and wine, Disney movies, and parenting.
It's gonna be us, and then all the mom blogs.
All right, well, we have to talk about.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say the other thing I had to talk about was Champions League final tomorrow. And
tell me about it. I've been not following it.
So here's the thing. This is stressful. The only way to watch all the Champions League games is through the CBS live streaming service. Like you have to pay for, like you can't watch it on CBS. It's only on their online streaming service.
If you had to be like, what network has it? I would never have guessed CBS.
Yeah, me neither. I was like Googling stuff. So the only way I watch it is I have to like log in with like my cable subscription online and watch it in Spanish because I'm not gonna pay for the CBS live streaming service to watch 3 games. But I think tomorrow's game, the final, is actually gonna be on CBS. I think they're only doing the final. But yeah, that was very stressful for me, is the fact that he had to pay extra to watch this game. But it's Paris PSG versus Bayern Munich, who just destroyed Barcelona last week. It was embarrassing.
They scored 8 goals?
Yes, rough to watch. And PSG, who, like, I think 2 games ago scored in the 87th and, like, the 93rd minute to win the game. They were down 1-0, and they scored 2 in, like, the last 5 minutes of the game to win.
Yeah.
And I think – so PSG is, like, the younger, like, all the – they got Neymar, and they have all the cool younger players that are, like, people like to watch, more exciting. But Bayern is just so ridiculously good. I don't see anyone beating them. They're just so, like, frustrating how dominant they've been for the last 60 years. I don't even know if that's true or not, but just forever. As long as I've been watching soccer, especially club soccer, they've just been the most dominant team of all time. And that's insane to me. Like, there's just huge German guys, and it's mostly German guys. That's the best part. Like, they don't even outsource. It's just mostly German guys, and they just they're awesome.
I looked up the info about the final, and it says previous finals appearances for the UEFA Champions League final. And it says Paris Saint-Germain, none. So this is our first final ever. And, they're historically good, so that's pretty interesting. And it says Bayern Munich, 74, 75, 76, 82, 87, 99, 01, 10, 12, and 13. It's just like, that's crazy, dude. But they haven't been there in 7 years, so we'll see. You're right, though. I don't follow international soccer as a whole as much as I follow. Like, I know more about the second tier of English soccer than I do about, the Bundesliga. Yeah. But I know that if Barcelona is losing by 6 goals, then there's something going on there. So you're gonna be able to watch it then?
Oh yeah. So I think this one's gonna be on CBS. And either way I can stream it. But
Here's the thing: are you gonna watch the Indy 500?
I think they're at the same time. But I think the Indy 500 lasts like 10 hours from what I remember, so I might be able to catch it on either end.
I don't
And I
think
think,
so, but
do
yeah,
I have to
you should
just
watch some of
dehydrate
it.
myself for the Indy 500? Is that part of the experience? I have to be
Yeah,
just super
you have to get really
dehydrated.
sunburned.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't you get roasted?
Well, I got roasted at the Journey concert the day before.
Yeah. So I think we're probably going long here, but we have to. The biggest sports story of the week, unfortunately, is not really a sports story, but it's Reds broadcaster Tom Brenneman using a homophobic slur live on the air, which I won't repeat
And
for
this
this
one's going
publicly.
deep to left field.
And there's a drive deep to left, and the score is 4-0 Reds. But anyway, so for those who may not be aware, they were coming back from. So I was watching this game, and it was quick, and I didn't hear it. And Gene texted me, "Oh, ugh, oh my gosh, Tom Brenneman," and I was like, "What? Did he die or something?" And
You're like,
he
I'm
told me
listening to
what
him
he
right now.
said.
He's good.
Yeah, he sounds okay. He's doing great. Good for him. And then I was watching the game, but then I watched his apology, and I was like, I can't believe this happened. And then I got on Twitter, and I heard the audio. So they were coming back from commercial break, and his mic was on. Apparently, he didn't know, and he used the 3-letter F word that you can't say, and um, then he just went right into it. Reds live after the post game, right? Like nothing happened, and
It's
everyone's
just so
like,
smooth.
"What?" And then, as you were referencing, he came on and he was giving his apology. And, earlier tonight, and I'm really sorry. And then Nick Castellanos of the Reds hit a home run to left field during the apology, and he's like, "I'm so sorry if I offended anyone. There's a drive deep to left, and that ball is gone. The Reds are up 4-0." And then the camera goes back to him, and he's like, "But if I hurt anybody,"
Yeah, and he's like, I'm never putting a
it's just
headset
like,
on again. It's like, you couldn't you
yeah,
couldn't wait till you finish your apology. Like this is like a career saving. Like you're trying to save your career right here. Like, this is like a big
like
deal,
this
and
is it. Like
you're like, I gotta call this homer.
Bigfoot could walk across the camera during this apology, and you don't acknowledge it. You just stay on.
Yeah,
And here's the deal. I've watched a lot of Reds games. I've listened to Tom Brenneman forever. When I first got into baseball for real and I became a Cincinnati Reds fan, it was listening to 1260 WNDE Indianapolis Cary Reds games, and Marty Brenneman, Tom Brenneman's dad. So like the Brenneman family has been calling Reds games for 50 years, and it's like this whole thing, and I like them, and it's not an apology of what he said, and I immediately texted Gene like, "Oh, he's done," and but it just sucks, and it's just like, but the good points have been made. Like if you're gonna say that wearing a microphone right before you go live on air, like if you're comfortable enough saying it to the people there in that moment, like how are you acting when the microphone's off, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're
because
that
it wasn't
comfortable in
even
that
like
moment.
there wasn't even a pause. It was what he said directly into broadcast. It was like capital of the world, and we're back.
Yeah, and he's like,
It
stay
was,
tuned post game for Reds Live.
like,
So it's like it makes you think like how many thousands of times has he almost said something crazy like, a slur on the air. It's just bad. And he got removed from Fox football coverage. So he got suspended indefinitely from the Reds coverage, and I think the only thing that'll save him is I mentioned he's a Brenneman, and his dad had been there for 50 years, and he's been with the organization a long time. I was like, he's done. Gene kind of thought he would get a year-long suspension and then come back next year, and I wouldn't be shocked to see that happen either. But it just sucks, man, because it's like it shines a really bad light on just everybody in the room because obviously people, I mean,
People were okay with it. Like,
everyone
everyone in that
there was
room was okay with it.
talking that way. Like he has a color analyst he was talking to, and it's
Yeah.
just, you know, I mean, his name's Chris Welsh. It's like, what is? I mean, he didn't say anything on air, but it's like they were talking. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, I think he's done.
Thoughts?
I don't see how you can bring him back. Like I think like maybe a couple years ago, yeah, you give him a couple. Not even a couple years ago, he probably doesn't get suspended. But like, maybe last year before everything that's happened in the last couple months, you give him a year, he's back. He apologizes, whatever.
Right.
And then he's back. Boom. And instead, now I think he's done. Like, you can't. As soon as he comes back, if he comes back, the media backlash will just the social media backlash, like the public backlash, will just be ridiculous.
Yeah, it kind of brings up another issue. Sometimes it's hard to judge how much you should care about that because a lot of people who will be upset if he comes back won't have anything to do with or care remotely ever about baseball or about the Reds or about broadcasting or about Tom Brenneman specifically. And it's like, should you cater to those people? But maybe you should because of what he said was bad. But you know what I mean? It's like a lot of sports leagues, not to change off this topic directly, a lot of sports leagues sometimes will face backlash on some social issue, and it's like the people who are mad at you are not watching your sport. You know what I mean? So it's like, should you even care?
Yeah,
But
NASCAR.
like when Jeremy Roenick, yeah. Well, we never talked about that yet. When Jeremy Roenick, he would call hockey games and stuff like that for NBC hockey, he said something. He made a joke on a podcast. This is gonna sound weird. They made a joke on a podcast about having a threesome with a coworker. Right? It was a Barstool podcast.
Yeah, I remember that. It was
not
deal.
appropriate. It was a joke. He got fired. And it's like, I understand why you can't say that, but I also understand that everyone who was mad, like the feminists who were mad that he would say that, are not watching hockey. In large part, you know what I mean? So it's like, should you care? Maybe you should when Tom Brenneman says a slur. Maybe you definitely should, and maybe you don't when Jeremy Roenick makes a joke about a coworker. Like, you can't judge your action. You can't judge your company's actions off social media, is what I'm saying. But sometimes social media aligns with what you should do.
I think it puts you in the dilemma of like, hey, do I think this is morally wrong versus, hey, like the people that watch it, the people that are paying the money don't care.
Exactly.
So should I like be like, hey, it's morally wrong, or should I be like, hey, screw it, people like it, kind of thing? And it is a dilemma. It's like
the problem you run into is it's like, okay, let's make up, I don't know, let's just make up a fake scenario, like a completely fake scenario. It's just a hypothetical. Like, something happens in the NFL that really, really, really pisses off and offends feminists and people who are charging forward with feminism, right? And it's
what
like,
about a running back
like you're saying,
beating up a girl in an elevator?
No, it's hypothetical. I don't know what you're talking. It's hypothetical. And so the problem is, so let's say you take action and you're like, the feminists are right, but it's a controversial thing, and so you lose a whole chunk of your fan base because they're like, I can't believe you caved to the feminists and we hate them, and now you've lost us, right? Well, the feminists are happy, but guess what? They're not going to start consuming NFL in large numbers. So it's like, you didn't gain any fans or revenue by catering to the people who are mad, and then you lost a whole chunk of the people you already had. So it's like, what do you do? And it's exactly what you said. It's like, you have to be like, is this morally bad enough that I should care? And it's tough. And in Tom Brenneman's case, the answer is probably yes. Can't say that.
You can't say that. You should probably be fired. So, but we'll see. We'll see if he comes back.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's the same thing that happened with the flags and NASCAR. It's like, hey, this is pissing off a bunch of people, but also like, dude, all the people that watch NASCAR like the flags.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's a good one.
yeah, that was a big
Man,
old thing.
the whole Confederate flag thing is sad because I'm really interested, and I have been since I was a kid, in Civil War history, and I'm also super interested in flags, like flags itself, vexillology, the study of flags. And so it's sad to see a flag, a flag that's a cool and meaningfully designed flag get used by people as a symbol of hate against other people when it's like you're just in it because you're like Civil War history. You know what I mean? Like I would have in my garage or something, I would have like historical flags of the Civil War period. That would be super cool. Like all the flags of like the regiments and stuff. I would
So
totally do that. But like I
and
couldn't
that
do that because I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't it's been, I wouldn't want to offend someone even though I would never approach it that way. I would never display it to be like a middle finger.
so here's the thing. We've had this discussion. We have it a lot at work. I work in South Georgia, so this is a hot topic.
It
And
probably comes up every day.
yeah, and most of us, the more liberal side of the people, which I rarely was called that when I was in Washington, but now I'm like the most liberal person in the room, which is really weird to me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but I'm, and we had this discussion, and we were saying like, some guy was like, hey, well, what if it was like, a history class, right? And the teacher had the Confederate or the rebel flag just, on his or her back wall, and it's like, boom. And I'm like, well, is that the only thing on the wall? Because if it's the only thing on the wall, it doesn't look good. But if it was like
Yeah.
the flags of the Civil War and that was on there, then everyone's like, yeah, that'd be okay. Or if it was like, historical flags of the United States, like, yeah, it's one of them. Like, sure, throw it on there. And it was like, but you had other American flags on there, other Civil War flags, and it was a display, because
Right.
no one gets offended. Like, why? No one like who actually thinks about these things gets offended with like a Civil War museum. Like it's a museum. Like you go, you learn about the Civil War. You don't get offended by the chapter. Like this is the Civil War chapter. That's bad. We don't talk about that. No, like
Right.
it's information. It's like people learning. So like a display, I think, is not offensive. I think if you wanted to do the flag thing, I think that'd be a good idea. But if you go out there and some guy opens his garage and he has like a banner that says flags of the Civil War, it's just that one flag, and over here it's like
Yeah.
flags of World War II, and it's just the Nazi flag, and it's like, oh, I don't want to be in this garage.
Yeah.
I'd be like, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable in this garage.
Context and intent matters, but that gets lost on people enough that you're like, well, I just won't then. Like, okay,
Exactly.
I had a shirt. I have a shirt right now from the Battle of Lookout Mountain, and I had a shirt growing up from when I went to Gettysburg, and it has like crossing flags like this, and one of them's the American flag, and one of them's the Confederate flag, and it's like the Battle of Gettysburg and all that, and it's like I wear that, but it's like
You want to?
I don't know, I don't wear it in certain situations now. But it's because I like history. I don't know. I don't know. But I would also like. But it's because I like Civil War history specifically, and I'm actually really interested in it. Like World War
The
II
funny
is
thing is,
interesting to me.
the
Hold on, let me
funny
make
thing
my
is,
point. Like World War
okay,
II
go.
is interesting to me, but I'm not like really into World War II, so I don't like really want to like I don't care about a Nazi flag. Like I don't want like I'm not interested. I have no shirts that are like the Battle of the Bulge and it has like a Nazi flag on it. Like it's not my thing. And if somebody had a shirt with a Nazi flag on it, like flags of World War II and the Nazi flag, I'd be like, I could see being like, why would you do that? But then like I don't know. I don't know how we got on this topic, but it's a tough one.
The funny thing is, I know you, so I understand like your love for history, especially Civil War history, and like your love for flags. So I get it. But if I didn't know you, and like we're walking down the street, and I see like how tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
If I see a 6'3" huge white dude with a big beard walking at me, and he's wearing a Confederate flag on his shirt, I'm probably like, I don't know, like at least avoiding eye contact. Like at the very least.
Right. No, I know what you mean. I get it. I get it. So it's tough. The thing is, there's the unofficial flag of the Confederacy is called the Bonnie Blue flag, and it's just a completely blue flag with a big white star on it, right? And it's like, enough people don't know history enough to be offended by that one. You could put that one in your front yard and no one would care. But like if you were in 1862 and you were flying that flag, that would mean a lot to a lot of people. So it's like there's ways to appreciate. Not that I would even do that, but I'm just saying like if you really are into history and stuff like that, there's ways to do it without offending people. But I don't know. I don't have any intent on flying a Confederate flag anyway.
The Confederacy, you could also do that without offending people. Is that what you're saying?
Say that again.
I said also, if you're really into the Confederacy, and you could do that without offending people by just putting a bunch of weird flags.
It depends. It depends why you're into the Confederacy. If you're like a South will rise again guy, then you should just stop. Like that's the advice. Is just stop it. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
There's a club here called the Sons of the Confederate Army.
Yeah.
Down the street. I don't think they'll let me join, but it seems pretty cool. I think it'd be cool if it was like an actual historical club. Like, is it actually that? I don't know if it's actually like a historical club or a bunch of like, my grandpa was in the Confederate Army. Well, I guess my great grandpa was in the Confederate Army, something like that. If it's that, I think it's super cool. If it's just a bunch of people like, hey, we're coming back.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I think to be into the Sons of the Confederacy, you have to like prove someone was in it that you're related to.
Sweet.
And I was researching this recently because there was a story about this giant, I don't know where it is. I think it's in Florida. Somewhere in Florida, I believe, there's this huge Confederate flag that you can see from the interstate. It's on private property, so they can't do anything about it. But it's like this massive flag. And when you're driving, I think it's near Tampa or something. When you're driving to or from Tampa, You can see it. And so I was looking into this news story, and it was put up by one of the groups, the Sons of the Confederacy that you were talking about. So I was looking into it. But yeah, I think it's I don't know. See, that's the thing where it's like you're antagonizing people. Like you're just antagonizing people. Like why? That's gonna make it worse for everybody. Why would you do that? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, this was a little long, but I think we had good conversations today.
It was a good. We talked. It was a good sports talk about the Confederate flag, wine, Disney movies, and parenting. So
yeah.
We covered all the hot topics in sports.
I'll make sure I'll call it Parenting 101 on one of the tags. I'll get a bunch of weird views. Moms throughout the wine, parenting. Nailed it.
I think we got like 4 views last week. So if we could double that, we'd be going places.
Oh, we'd be going back to 2 weeks ago and we got 8 views. So
yeah, exactly. All right.